of the mountain.
Hey everybody, Wildman here. Today I'm going to be showing you the basics on how to field strip an AR-15. Let me start off by saying this is a basic breakdown. This is not an armored takedown. This is just so you guys can take this system down, be able to clean it and inspect it. You'll break apart your bolt group, be able to take a look at it, and that way you know what's going on with it, okay? So, for this, I'm not going to take the gun completely apart into two pieces. I just break mine down shotgun style, and I'll show you what that means. So to take it down, you have these two pins right here. These are your takedowns. To break it down shotgun style, all you have to do is pop this back pin. Push on it right here. If you can see, my sling's in the way. Push on it right there. Pull this pin out with your fingernail. Okay? And then breaks over just like that, like a single action shotgun. You shouldn't need any tools to take it down. You may need something to push these pins out if it's a new build. Sometimes they'll be a little bit stiff, but most of the time you don't. So you grab your bolt latch, pull back on it, and that releases your bolt and charging handle. Pull both of those out, set your bolt down, set your charging handle down, and you can push right here. You have your buffer tube and buffer detent spring. Well, just the detent. The spring's underneath it. You can push it down with a fingernail, but it kind of sucks, so I'm going to use the end of a pin. Just push down on that piece right there. That releases your buffer and spring. Alright? Pull those out. And that's it. So from here, let me move this. From here, if you're cleaning, you can run a swab or a bore snake down. You can take an AP brush and clean out the insides. You can get your trigger mechanism and everything here. But we're going to set this off to the side, and then we're going to work on taking the bolt apart. Okay, now that we've got the bolt out of your firearm, we're going to break it down. Make sure that you've got a place to put all your small pins and pieces. I try to avoid magnetic trays. I don't want any of my metal pins becoming magnetized and then picking up little flakes of metal. That can cause your gun to not want to function properly, especially when it's all these small moving parts. So I use an old egg carton that I've numbered 1 through 12, obviously because there's 12 slots. And as I pull a piece out, I just set it in the first slot and go on from there. So then when I go to put it back together, I know I start at the last number and work my way forward, okay? So the first thing you're going to do is you want to take out this little pin right here. This is your firing pin retainer. What it does is it holds your firing pin in place, keeps it from falling out of the back of your bolt carrier group. This whole thing's the bolt carrier group. So you can usually get it with a fingernail. Sometimes, see, I just hooked there and was able to pull it out. Sometimes you have to use a pocket knife or the end of a pin. That's perfectly fine. You shouldn't have to pry on it. It should come out fairly easy. So if you're having to pry on it, something's up. So this just pulls out like that right there. And there's that pin. We're going to put it over here in slot number 1. All right. Next thing to come out is going to be your firing pin. Your firing pin sits right here. That little silver head is the back of it, and it slides through your bolt carrier group up into your actual bolt carrier. So to get that out, all we're going to do is turn this over, and it should fall out like that. If it doesn't, you can give it a little tap on the table, and it'll come right out. So that's your firing pin. And we'll set it off to the side now. Next that comes out is your bolt cam pin. It's this right here. I don't know if you can see that part that's moving. It's got a rectangular head and it's kind of a little cylinder body on it. You want to turn it to where the head of the rectangle is going parallel to this bolt key or your gas key up here. Okay? Once you've got it sitting like that, then it just pulls right out. Last, you're actually going to pull out your bolt carrier, and that's this portion right here. This is the part that your round locks up into and what locks into your chamber. And once you have all those other pieces out, it just pulls out. Okay? So this will allow you can clean the inside of this with an AP brush. It's just a little nylon brush. Has 2 different size heads on it. This is your gas key. I'll usually run a pipe cleaner or a small Okay, so once you've got it there, that's broken down. This will allow you to clean it, However you decide to do that, if you want me to do a cleaning video, let me know and we'll do one of those. This one is just going to be a field strip, okay? So now that we're to this point, we're going to put it back together. So start from the last step and work your way back. So take your bolt carrier. Sometimes you see it didn't want to go in there. Sometimes you have to twist it around to get everything lined up just right, okay? Now, right here, we have to rotate that bolt carrier around until the hole in it lines up with the hole in this group. And that will allow us to drop our cam pin back in. Okay. So now that we're lined up, this slides right in there. Okay. And we're going to turn it to make sure the hole in it is facing in the same line with the hole inside the bolt. Then you take the head of the bolt, pull it out, and that cam pin should line itself up, okay? You want to make sure that it's turned running this direction, otherwise the holes aren't lined up and your firing pin won't go in. And your firing pin will let you know if you try and put it in and it stops, that pin's not turned the right direction. So now we hold it up this way. And you can do it one of two ways. If it's the M16 bolt, they have a piece of metal that comes all the way down to here. It's designed for fully automatic fire and makes the bolt a little sturdier. This is just a standard AR bolt group, so I don't have to drop it through the end here, but I'm putting the firing pin in right there, okay? So I'm just going to come in from the front and drop it in like that, and it slid right down, okay? If it doesn't go down all the way, just give it a little push with your pinky, make sure that lines out. Now we're going to come back over to this side. We're going to take our firing pin retainer, slide it in there, and now if you push, see it stopped right there. Sometimes you have to turn it just a little bit to get it to line up with everything. There it is. Everything's lined up. Now the way that you can check this is push your bolt back in and sling it, and it should come out smooth and easy. Okay? Now we're ready to put everything back together. All right. Your charging handle has to go in first. In the top of your receiver, there's a track that this and these little ears have to fit into. So you have to actually slide it in, and once it finds those holes, it'll slide up all the way to the top, like that right there where it's touching all the way. And then you take your bolt carrier group, make sure your bolt face is out all the way. If it's halfway inside, it's not going to go in right, so just make sure it's pushed everything out. Slide it in. You want to make sure your gas key is inside your charging handle, and then you can drop it. Alright, once that's flushed out, take your buffer tube and spring, or your buffer and spring, excuse me, they slide back in the buffer tube. And that's it. We're back together. Anytime you take one apart and put it back together, you always want to functions check it. Obviously, the first thing you do before you ever break one down is unload it. But function check it just to make sure the trigger mechanism and safety are still working properly. All's good. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, like, and share, and I'll get some more videos coming to you guys. If you got any questions, post in the comments. Have a great day.